know, get refreshed. And
why did you come then?
I was transitioning out of a pastoral ministry.
Okay.
And just, you know, came out to hang out with Jennifer and, you know, just be away from everything and relax. And I helped out in repairing the 68th Street house. Yeah. Yeah, so it was good. And I, you know, did some singing and stuff. And so Jennifer invited me to come do this concert after many weeks and months of reminding her and Tara that I was available.
You are available.
For concerts.
Oh. So you used to do full-time pastoral ministry, and now do you do full-time music?
No, now I'm a construction worker.
Okay.
I lay hardwood floor. I install, sand, and finish hardwood floors for my uncle.
Okay. And how were you going to advertise that? We talked about this yesterday. So good you would.
Yeah, some of the floors we make are so beautiful. The only way I could describe how I feel when I look at them is that I want to eat them. I know that sounds weird, but
that's some good wood.
Yeah, it's beautiful. or swim in them. Like, they're so pretty. I just want to jump off of the catwalk in the house and dive right in and swim. They're beautiful.
Maybe take your shoes off, slide in your socks around. And hardwood floors, right? That's what they're good for.
Right. They are really. So that is something you really can do. You can really slide around on them, as opposed to swimming and eating things you cannot really do.
Okay. Yeah.
My voice.
I know the feeling. Would you do music full time if you could?
Boy, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. You know, I don't know.
So you thought about it?
Yes, I would.
Yes.
If I didn't have to, I mean, if I could just say I wanted to, And if I could afford it and support a family, I would totally would. Cool. But I'm torn because I love preaching.
Okay. So you could do like a road evangelist.
But I don't, like, obviously I'm not like a Steve Darmody type. So I wouldn't be standing up there in my suit preaching a sermon and then sing a Bill Gaither song. My music is different, you know, and so I don't know if my, I don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Does that make sense to anybody?
Well, one thing I really appreciate about your music is that there's so much scripture in it, and it's also very, very personal and deep. So I feel like you could almost just do concerts and talk in the middle.
Yeah, that's what I do. But I love preaching. I love
preach.
Studying the Bible and digging things out. And I'm going to be speaking at the Pennsylvania camp meeting this summer.
Oh, nice.
For the young adults. I'll be speaking the first weekend.
I hope I get to go.
And Pastor Terrace invited me to do that. And the series, I'm so excited.
You already know.
Yeah. The Lord was just like, it's going to be called Mystery, the Enigma of Sin and the Extraordinary Solution. The first message is going to be on the mystery of iniquity, which is man trying to make himself God, being the master of his destiny and even of the destiny of others, which really stems from Lucifer, pride, sin. The next message is on the mystery of godliness, which is the opposite. It's God letting go of his power and becoming a man. And anyway, so I'm really excited. It's going to be good. So if you come to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania camp meeting, I'm also going to be speaking at the Oklahoma camp meeting this summer for the early morning meetings. I'm not an early morning person. I do not wake up.
Just stay up all night.
Yeah. I don't wake up early, but my sermons start at 6:30 at the Oklahoma camp meeting. I'll be doing a series on the Beatitudes called "How to Be Happy." Cool. So I love preaching, so I'm torn. I've thought about this. I'm torn between if I did full-time music, I wouldn't have as much opportunity to preach. I don't know.
Okay.
And by the way, I have a website, amazinglove.info. There's dozens and dozens of my sermons from the last 4 years on this website that you can just listen to. Amazinglove.info.
Nice. That's cool. So you said you came to Christ through your dad, giving the great controversy.
Partly.
I mean, is there anything else, like, quickly you can say about your testimony?
I was born into a Seventh-day Adventist Christian home. My father, check this out. My father was traveling around sharing his testimony at that time in his life. And he's got an incredible testimony, which is up on my website. It's in the sermon archive. It's called the Fred Millea story. It would be a great blessing to you to hear it. Incredible things happened to him. But anyway, the reason I brought that up is because I came to the Freeport, Illinois church to serve as kind of like a interim pastor or an assistant pastor to help out the pastor of the district. And I went down into their tape cassette library, and I was looking through the tapes, and I saw a tape that said, The Fred Millea Story, 1983, the year I was born. And it was of him speaking at the Michigan camp meeting when I was 5 months old, and he brought me up onto the stage at the end, and he was like, this is my wife and my beautiful baby boy. So I was already in that church, maybe for many years before I actually went there. It was pretty wild. And I had never heard his whole testimony before either. Okay, so...
by the way, it's really important for fathers to share their testimonies with their kids.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
sadly enough, my parents divorced when I was around 5. Their relationship just disintegrated, and some terrible things happened. And so my dad raised my sister and I, and he slowly drifted away from the church and away from God. And by the time I was a teenager, he had gone back to alcohol and drugs. And I had no real structure or stability or guidance that I needed as a teenager. And so to cope with what was going on, I started smoking. I would steal his cigarettes, and he was lying about. He was hiding it so he couldn't, say stop stealing my cigarettes. And I started drinking and doing drugs, and for a short period, just basically partied all the time, and did a lot of really stupid things and things that were very hurtful to my mind and body. But thankfully, it only lasted for a couple of years, and God came in and intervened in my life in some miraculous ways, and basically I didn't like the direction I was headed, and I think that was God, not allowing me to be satisfied with the kind of life I was living. And anyway, that's kind of the short version. And I just, kind of surrendered to the spiritual thoughts and motivations that were coming into my life. And I read The Great Controversy. I sat in my room and just cried and read that book for hours every day. And at the end of the book, I was like, okay, the world